Here's an end pattern. Would you use that stripe ball into the side pocket as the key ball for the 8-ball break shot? How about this end pattern? Is the 12 your key ball for the 9-ball break shot? Or is the 5 your key ball for the 6-ball break shot? There might be a better way. Keep watching. Hello, my name is Bob. Welcome to a shortstop on pool. Got a pretty low break ball. I believe I'm shooting low on the cue ball. I don't want to draw the cue ball up table, though. I'm just trying to kill the cue ball into the side of the rack. So that worked out pretty well. The 3-ball does pass the 2. First thing I notice is a low angle on the 5. In other words, if the cue ball gets here, I can open this up. Don't really have an insurance ball, but they're going to open up real nicely. I'm not going to need one. So I believe that's what I'm attempting to do here. Yeah, I'm looking at my options. Because I could shoot the 4 first and have an angle on the 3 to bring the cue ball straight up this way. I choose to go this direction, hit it way too hard. A little bit fortunate that the cue ball hit that 13. But the cue ball's still alive. I'm going to figure something out. I've got 2 potential break balls, this one and this one. This one might be a break ball, and then one of these could become a break ball later in the rack as well. So now I think what I'm considering doing is stop shot on the 5, then using this ball to go straight up into there. Oh, instead of that, I get a low angle, and I'm probably going to send the cue ball up there. That's not a great re-break shot because the cue ball can get it's unlikely the cue ball is going to hit the 9 full and get stuck. So the cue ball is either going to go this way or this way. And so my next shot is unclear. There's not a real great insurance ball. What I would love to do is get the cue ball right where the 8-ball is, because this angle on the 9 is just ideal to shoot the 9-ball here and let the cue ball open these balls up. And I'm going over there looking, how can I get the cue ball over there? Even if I get the cue ball just below the 8-ball, that'd be great. Can't figure out how to do that, so I'm just going to go into the 9 a little bit firm. I know the cue ball is going to probably not stick right there for a shot on the 2, but give this a good stroke and see what happens. I didn't open up that cluster wide, but I've got it, and the cue ball didn't land in a great spot. But I do have a shot on this 15. Almost, it's a very slight cut. So now I've got a great opportunity to open this rack, and all I want to do is go to the rail. When I shoot the 15, I want the cue ball to go to the rail, knowing I'm going to have an angle on either the 13 or the 7 to then go back into these balls and open them up. Now, that's not necessarily required because I think a stop shot on the 7, I think that I'd be able to play position here now to shoot the 9 in this pocket and get those open without running into those balls. Kind of 50-50 player's choice. What do you want to do? Same thing here. These balls don't have to be nudged. You can get a shot on one of them on the 6 into this corner pocket if you play position over there, etc. I think I'm a little impatient here. I just decide, draw the cue ball into the 6. I'll have a shot on the 2. Yeah. Or one of these other balls. There was very, very little risk in that ball. Now I'm almost to the decision point on the end pattern here. And I believe that at this point I have decided, and let me give a little pause to this video here. I believe at this point I've decided that I like the 8-ball as the break ball better than the 13. It's a little bit lower, a little bit closer to the rack. And I've got 4 balls on this side. So one of them, I'm thinking, one of those is going to work for a key ball, isn't it? So that's probably where my thought process is right now. Let me take a look. Yeah, and so this ball is a little bit high, and it's not really useful. So since I have so many shots on the lower part of the table, that's why I choose to shoot this ball right now. Now, I've overcooked that. Look at me. I'm waving my hand. I don't think you can tell, but I'm waving my hand trying to get the cue ball to stop. I wanted the cue ball to stop out here for a shot on this 13, I'm sure. And so I'm still not thinking about a firm end pattern because I'm kind of hampered here. I'm just going to make the 14, come over for a shot on the 13. So at this point in my mind, I'm still thinking that this ball, I believe, is a 12, is going to be my key ball for the 8. And then, you know, how the way that I think, I'm going to look diagonally from this key ball, and this would be my K2 ball. So that's not a bad pattern. And that's traditionally, for many, many months now, the type of thing that I would be looking for in this situation. Only 5 balls left for my end pattern. The problem with this is I'm shooting low balls that I then need to transition back up above a ball I need to get up high on this K2 ball to get on my key ball, unless if I get some type of position where I'm delicately rolling the cue ball forward to here, so I have a straight in shot up table on the 13, and that's not a great pattern either. So what I decide at this moment in this rack, and I've been doing this more lately in this type of situation, I'm saying to myself, if I had a ball here, for example, as a K3, then I want to do that. I want to shoot this ball, then the K2, and then this one is the key ball. But I don't have that situation. And so I'm changing, and I'm going to start shooting these racks from the top down. And a few weeks ago, I had a rack of the week called Climbing the Ladder, where I talked about shooting the high balls first and working your way down. So this is very different for me. I shot in what traditionally would be the key ball, and I gave myself an angle on this ball to get over on the 13. So I'm shooting the highest balls in order first. And the reason is this 2 ball is a good key ball. And I'm of the mind now that because there's no good K3 ball to get on this as a K2, you're better off with this pattern. This K3 is really easy to get the cue ball down here. And no matter if I get an angle or low or straight to shoot this stripe in this corner, I can come up and get an angle on this too. And the nice thing about this 2 ball, generally you don't want a key ball that's in this zone, inside of where your break ball is going to be. Although over here isn't all that bad. You don't want a key ball over here. But on this side of the shot line, it's not necessarily bad if you can get the right angle. So if my cue ball ends up low on the 2, as long as I can cut it in and miss the 8, I can go to the rail and come out for a position on my break shot. Alternatively, if I'm near to straight in on the 2 ball, let's say the cue ball stops here, then I can draw the cue ball straight up this way for my break shot. And then the third option, which is what ends up happening in this rack, if I'm a little bit above the 2 ball, I can follow forward with left spin and come above the rack. And that's an excellent key ball shot. So recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been choosing to go top down in situations where I don't have a real clear-cut route to get reliably on my K2 ball to get on that key ball on the side. I think this is a higher percentage. Now, I ended up low on this stripe. Because of that, I'm not going to try and hold my cue ball. I'm going to let it go up high. And I just need to get the shot line to the 2 is here. I'm just barely above that shot line. Now, I'm going to show you something that makes this an excellent key ball. And that's this. Look at the shot line to the pocket for the 8. Okay? Now, I'm going to follow forward, so my cue ball is going to go somewhere like here and here. Let's extend the shot line for the 8 ball straight out. You tell me, how hard do I have to hit this 2 ball for the cue ball to come off this second rail and cross the shot line so that I don't have a break shot? You've really got to hit it hard and let it go way too far. It's almost impossible to hit this ball too hard. I mean, obviously you could, but if you're trying to play position above your break ball, you're going to get there. Look at the direction of the cue ball was this, and the line to the pocket is this. Those 2 lines don't intersect till way over here. I'm going to have a good angle on this break shot with that positional route. And so that's the second reason that in these situations, I like this top-down pattern. It's very reliable. Now, usually this is the end of the rack of the week, and I just show the break shot into the next rack. But coincidentally, and the reason why I chose these 2 racks is this very next rack, I do the same thing. So I might not, we'll just kind of let this play through this next rack because I want to get to the end pattern and show a second example in the same run of going top down on the end pattern. So here I've got an angle where I just want to draw the cue ball and probably go to the side rail. Yeah, no, it didn't go to the side rail and it drew straight up table, which I really didn't want. Actually, let's take another look at that break shot in slow motion. When I hit this break shot, the cue ball is going to hit the 2 ball full, and almost all the energy of the break shot is going to go into the 4. You're going to see these balls move just a little bit, but the 4 ball is going to go to the bottom rail and back up and then re-break the rack. So let's watch that. Watch the 4 ball. So I've stopped the video for a second. You can see that this 15 ball has also traveled a lot. It's traveled this far. The 4 ball has traveled to the bottom rail and back up this far. The cue ball has traveled this far, and these other balls have only moved just a couple of inches in the same amount of time. So almost all the energy of the rack went into the 4 ball and the 15 ball. And so what you're expecting in order to get the rack to separate the most is you need to hit it hard enough so that one of these secondary balls, I call them a secondary ball because they cause a secondary collision to the rack. So watch what the 4 ball does and watch what the 15 ball does when they get back to the rack. That 4 ball hit the 7 and caused several balls to move, and here comes the 15. Sometimes the 15 ball is going to be what causes the secondary collision, but that informs you how hard you need to hit this rack. You need to hit it hard enough to get one of those balls to come back and cause a secondary collision. Okay, little detour there, but let's get back to the rack. As it is, I've got a couple of shots. I could shoot this ball or this ball from up table, but it's a very reasonable cut shot, and the cue ball is going to come straight off the head rail. So I'm not trying to feather this and hit it real light. I'm going to give it a little bit of speed, just expecting to basically what happened to happen. And so I've got a couple of shots. I can shoot the 4 ball, I can shoot the 9 ball, etc. I think the safest shot, really simple, just let the cue ball go to the bottom rail, come up, split these 2 balls. I've got insurance balls in all directions. There's not much that can go wrong with that. This is an ideal rack because I don't have any tied up balls. Now, that could have gone wrong. Maybe the 6 might have stopped here, and then I'd create a problem for myself. But it was really not very likely for that to happen. I've got potential break balls, the 13 and the 9 and the 6. Maybe something else will get nudged into position to be a break ball. So there's a lot of ways to approach this rack. But notice that it's not even a half table game. It's a 3/8 of a table. Every ball is within these 3 diamonds. So there's many, many ways to clear these balls. And what I just did there was, rather than shooting the 12, which I barely had a full pocket for, to get on this one, I played below it because it's such a high percentage shot, because I have so much speed control that I can get just perfect on that ball, knowing that I'll have this ball next. And it's at this point, I believe it's at this point, you see me kind of taking a moment to study this rack. I'm going to go top down again. So in the past, I may have chosen to preserve the 9 as a break shot and the 12 as a key ball. Now the 12 may not be great to go in the side as a key ball unless you can maybe use the 7 as the K2, where you're sure, just absolutely sure, that you can get perfectly straight on that 10 in the side. I mean, that's a possibility. It's not great. But if you don't have that, then you've got to play the cue ball up above this 12, and you've got to get just right where you're either straight in or you have an angle over here where you can bounce off the rail and get a 9 as a break shot. So that would be a traditional way of going about it. Same story for the other side of the table. If you're using the 2 or 6 as a break ball, you're going to need to get that kind of an angle on the 5, either straight in or probably an angle where you can bounce the cue ball off the rail and come up. But once again, I'm seeing in this situation, because I don't have a great K2, K3 ball that lead directly to each other above my break ball, I'm going to go top down. Top down meaning I'm going to shoot the balls that are higher on the table, and I'm probably going to use the 15 as a key ball. The 7 might be possible also, but in this case, it's going to be this ball here is going to be my K2, and this will be the key ball. And I think I'm just going to go around like this and use either the 2 or the 6 as the break shot. So instead of using this 9 ball as a break shot, I used it to transition back up high. So now I'm going to shoot, looks like I'm shooting the 2, yep. And then I'll shoot the 5, and then the 3, 7. And then the 14, 15 will be the last 2. So top-down approach again. Here I want to bring the cue ball, bring the cue ball all the way across table. As long as I hit this second rail, I'm on this 3 ball with a good angle to get on the 7. Taking a moment to go look and make sure, because I want to get just right. Here's the pocket line to the 7. So ideally, I'd like to be on it or above it so I can just slide over here for the 10. And that's exactly what I've done. So this is almost identical to the last rack. I'm getting the cue ball over here so that I can get bring the cue ball up here for the angle I want on my cue ball. Oh, I went to this side. Same difference. Works just as well. But notice how I worked all the balls from top down, and I'm using a ball that's in this zone as the key ball for my break shot. I'm really favoring this route. Look at that. I have a very, very slight angle. So in this instance, no left English, no outside English. I'm just playing the angles straight up to here. Once again, there's no way this cue ball is going to cross that shot line to the 6. Guaranteed to have an angle. All I got to do is play the speed control to get up around the side pockets. I came a little bit short on this instance, and you're going to have an ideal break shot. So this top-down approach is for when you don't have a really good traditional end pattern that leads with 100% reliability to a key ball into the side pocket or above your break shot. Obviously, I've got an outside angle. Now, I wonder if I don't remember if I shoot this with a... Traditionally, you're going to shoot this with a high ball, and the cue ball is going to loop to the bottom rail like this. But I've been doing a few things differently lately, and I may just shoot this with a low... Yep, I'm shooting it with a low cue ball. I bet you're going to see the cue ball go to the side rail. Let's see. Ooh. Well, I didn't lie. It went to the side rail. Not quite as much draw as I wanted. It would have been nicer if that hit higher on the side rail. Regardless, the reason why I did that is it opens up the rack better, as you can see, than using a high ball. It's definitely a more aggressive approach to that break shot. The pocket's a little smaller because you're hitting it harder. But look at the results. The rack is open much easier. I've got shots everywhere and a much higher probability to keep the run going.